A speed power test grid is kind of like a recipe to me. If you don't have a recipe, you may be able to guess the ingredients for your grandma's favorite cake, but without the recipe to guide you, you may end up with a pancake instead of a regular cake and it tastes like sawdust. But with a recipe, you can create a good product over and over and get consistent results. So don't be afraid to take a little bit of time to do the speed power test. A lot of times in groups and stuff, I see people talking and they want to know people's speed and power that they used. But that can be different for everybody. Uh, You can have the exact same machine, but none of them work exactly the same. A lot of things make a huge difference, such as one person may buy their wood from Home Depot, one may buy it online, and they're totally different qualities of wood. Some wood has more glue in it, and those glue pockets can be harder to cut through. Sometimes you see people, I want to throw this thing out the window. I've wasted so much material. I'm going broke. Well, don't waste that material. Take the little bit of time and do a speed power test grid. And then I save those grids in a box for each machine that I have. And also, sometimes I'll do a speed power test grid in the winter and one in summer, because even the weather can affect how your machine cuts. So you want to be prepared. And I just saved all those tests in a box by each machine, and then I label them. I put the date, I put what machine it was, where I got the material, and that way I always know. And I highly suggest that you do that. Material is expensive anymore, and you don't want to spend your time and your material testing out your whole design and it be a mess. It's just not something you want to do. So take that little bit of time and do those tests. It will really help you, and it will cut down on what you're spending on material. If you want to sometime, especially with engraving, you might want a different look. So you can pull out your test and you can say, oh, this is a little bit darker, this is a little bit lighter, and choose what you want. That makes you different from everybody. I hope that you'll take the time to watch the rest of this video, and I'll teach you what I do for the wood and how I run the speed power test grids. I just wanted to show you what I do to mask to make my cuts come out better and cleaner. I have this 12-inch roll of masking transfer tape. I get it on Amazon. You can find the link in the description. And one of the main things that I can say is it's very important to do those speed power test grids. And I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. But I get this 12-inch and it makes it much faster than what I was showing you. A lot of people use this little masking tape and it works fine. If that's what you want to do, fine, you do you. I like to do things a little bit speedier. Whenever you do the small masking tape, what can happen is if you don't get it perfectly aligned, if you get it a little bit on top of each other, it can affect how your machine cuts through it or how it engraves. So this is all I do. I lay it out on my cutting mat like this, and then I just kind of line it up here, and I leave a little bit on each side, and then press it down. Then I just get these little rolling cutters. They're like fabric cutters, and from Dollar Tree, because as you know, anything with fabric, if you use it on paper, it ruins the blade. These are cheap, they work great, and so that's what I use. That way, if it goes bad, I can just pick up another one. I keep several of them around. So I lay it down there, and then what I do is I just cut it like that. Be sure and keep your masking in a cool, dry place. Safety first, always make sure that you close it up so that nobody gets hurt. After I put it on here like this, I use these little squeegees. It's used a lot for sign vinyl, things like that. If any of you own a Cricut or Silhouette or a Roland or something, you've probably got about a few of these around. And I like the ones that have the felt on the end, and that way I don't scratch up my wood. So I just turn it over, and notice how it comes up like this. You don't want that to happen, because if you put it in your laser, then if it comes up, then whenever it's lasered, it can actually catch fire and burn your wood, or worse. What I do is I just take one of these and I start doing this and pressing it down real good. And I do it from several directions because I don't want that coming up. A lot of people have problems with the masking coming up, and a lot of it is that they don't burnish it down real good. Now I just flip it back over, and where I have that extra, you can rip it off if you want to, or you can get back out your little cutters. Well, that one don't want to come open. As you can see, I keep a bunch of them. I've got arthritis in my hands, so sometimes it's hard for me to get some of these things open. And then I just cut it like that, because you don't want a bunch of extra off, because that can catch fire too. And now it's ready to go. And I would suggest that you just mask what you're going to use for a few days, and that way it doesn't risk popping up, or it doesn't risk getting extra sticky and sticking too bad to your wood. Here's a close-up view of the squeegee that I use, and also the rotary cutter. First, I'm going to make a shape. You can do any shape that you want. I like to make a star a lot of time, so that you have sharp edges, corners that you need to make, and so you can test it better and see what'll cut better. Make sure that you hit cut, because you want to test the cutting of it. Then over here you can test, you can get a lot of your materials, and that way you can get a roundabout guess of what your settings will be, and that way you know what to put into your test grid. Now I'm going into applications, and you need to click material test array. Now it will show you a grid that they have, but that's just generic. It's a starting point. Make your own. Here you can put in your minimum and maximum power, and you get that. I always go above what is shown on their recommended settings, and below. You can also set the spacing, but I usually just leave it alone. And then you hit done. You can make this grid larger or smaller, just depending on what you need. I'm going to ungroup this just to show you how each star has a different setting, but you don't have to ungroup it when you run your own test grid. And now you just run your test. Honestly, it will save you a lot of time and a lot of materials. You don't want to be somebody with your hair all out everywhere because you're pulling your hair out, or somebody see you throwing your laser out the window. So this will really help you. I highly suggest doing this, and save those tests. I appreciate you coming and being a part of this video. I hope to build a great community that helps each other. If you have any ideas of things that you would like to learn, drop me a comment below, and I'll try to respond to all comments, and I have a lot of videos planned, and I hope to be able to help you. I have been crafting for over 40 years and been selling my crafts for over 30 years. So I've seen and used a lot of different machines, gone through a lot of changes. So I hope that you can benefit from my years of crafting. I'm just getting started with making YouTube videos, so it's not something that I'm used to, but hopefully I'll get it and hopefully they'll get better. But my goal here is to help you. Just remember, we all make mistakes. I've been doing this a long time and I still make mistakes, and that's okay. We're human. In my videos, I'm trying to go step by step, and that way you can fast forward, rewind, and find exactly what you need. Um, Follow along on your computer as you're watching. For me, that's the easiest way to learn. I suggest making you a playlist of Save for Later and adding my videos there. That way, if you run into a problem, you can go back to your playlist and look up one of my videos and be able to solve a problem, hopefully. I would appreciate it if you would drop a comment below and just let me know what you're wanting to learn, problems that you may have, machines that you have. Uh, I have a lot of experience in a wide variety of machines. I've really grown up through the years. I remember a time where we used punch cards for embroidery machines and went to all digital. I grew up using skill saws and scroll saws, so lasers coming along, oh, that was right up my alley. Made things a whole lot easier. I've done direct to film printing, I've done direct to garment, embroidery. I have several vinyl cutting machines, heat presses, just about anything that you can imagine. People joke about that my house is like going to a craft store. So I hope you'll come on with me and join me on this journey. If you see anything that you like that I have used in this video, check out the description below. I will drop affiliate links to the items that I use. Any items that I use are things that I would recommend. I'm not going to be one that just takes things and, oh, I recommend this. No, this is something I have used and I stick my reputation on it and I say, I recommend this. So click on those affiliate links in the description and it'll take you to the items and consider purchasing them, and it'll help me bring more to this channel. I would appreciate it if you like and subscribe, and be sure and hit that alert bell, and that way you know when I've uploaded a new video. Thank you for your time. I appreciate all of you, and y'all have a great day. God bless.